as the best team in the land. Marshall's never been on this stage. It's second home to Indiana. But this is not David versus Goliath, folks. David only defeated one giant. The Thundering Herd dispatched 3 giants of college soccer, Clemson, Georgetown, and UNC, to arrive at a place no one outside of West Virginia imagined. All right. Marshall is heading to the College Cup Final. They have a chance of hoisting the biggest prize in college soccer. But Todd Yeagley's legendary Hoosiers stand in the Herd's way. A record 16th title game appearance, 8 times hoisting the trophy, equipped with a National Player of the Year candidate in Victor Becerra, who's surrounded by game changers, as Pitt found out in the semi. Again! Game winner when these teams played in 2019! Celebrations begin in Bloomington. They're heading back for a championship. Sporting immortality awaits. The College Cup Final is next. Welcome into Cary, North Carolina, and look at this. We've got atmosphere for the occasion. A championship is on the line. Marshall, the Thundering Herd, unseeded, taking on the 3rd seed, the Indiana Hoosiers, who are a dynasty in men's college soccer. Take a look at how they got here. The Thundering Herd got past UNC 1-0, outshot 11-1, but made that one shot count. Indiana took down Pitt in a Herbert Enderle beautiful finish, and they move on to play in the final. What's up, everybody? Alongside Devin Kerr, I'm Dallin Cuff. Lori Lindsay, former women's national team player, will be joining us, the 3rd member of our team, in just a minute. Devin, this is outstanding. We've got a great atmosphere. The championship trophy is there. But as we said in the beginning, this is not a David versus Goliath situation, although Marshall is unseeded. Please explain to folks why.
6 wins in the top 25 overall. Let's talk about the resume. 8 goals for, 2 goals against, 4 shutouts in that streak. The resume speaks for itself. Indiana, it's a little bit different. Decades of culture have been bred into this program. You understand that the edge is the jersey. It's the commitment put in and all the guys before you. That's why we win. That's why Todd Yeagley had these guys prepared. Victor Becerra, that's your Mac Herman Trophy finalist. One of 3 guys in the country that could be the best player in college soccer. A little bit off in the semifinal? No, it was designed that way. But he had 5 goals in 4 games through the Big Ten tournament against St. Francis. They want to go back-to-back in that performance again. Vitor Diaz on the other side of the ball for Marshall. He did have an impact in that semifinal game. This little flick over the back shoulder to allow Jameel Roberts to get the game-winning goal. He's going to be very active on the field. Pinches left, pinches right, down into the pocket. It's going to be a handful for the back line of Indiana.
5,000 tickets are allowed to be sold, 5,000 stronger here. We cannot wait to see who's going to hoist the trophy. Lineups, kickoff, and Lori's report from the field with the Thundering Herd fans coming up next. Back here in Cary, North Carolina, just about to kick off the Men's College Cup Final. Let's get to the lineups. Both remain unchanged. We start with Indiana and Todd Yeagley's 4-2-3-1. The center backs are critical in your mind, Deb.
Big time here. Because of the rotation you're going to see out of Chris Grassi and Marshall, the amount that they move, Joey Mayer and Daniel Meany are going to have their hands full, and it's the age that I want to focus on. Freshmen and redshirt freshmen that are anchoring this back line. Celentano in goal has to keep communication proper to allow this front 3, Gumbali, Thomas War, and the game winner in the semifinal, Enderle, to explode when they get in the final third.
They've been great all year. They are second in the nation in goals against average, but can they raise their play today against this Marshall 4-3-3?
This might be right here your best goalkeeper in the land. I just talked about Celentano, but Ali Semla on the back line, great with his feet. He'll play high. He'll allow this back line to expand going forward, but it's the presence up top by Milo Yosef. Can he stretch it? More importantly, can he allow his outside midfielders to get involved? Talked about the winner in the semifinal for Indiana, Jameel Roberts, the same thing off the ball from Vitor Diaz. It's a potent attack that stings in multiple areas.
Roberts has game winners in both of their last 2 matches. Let's get down to Lori Lindsay, former women's national teamer, in front of a sight for sore eyes, fans.
Oh my goodness, guys, this stadium is rocking, and for the experienced Indiana Hoosiers, they'll be used to this energy, but for Marshall, they'll look to the sea of green behind me to settle the nerves and give this a home-like feel to this game.
Thank you, Lori, and you're absolutely right, folks. We watched this one. Congratulations to Santa Clara. The women from Santa Clara won the Women's College Cup Final in penalties 4-1 over Florida State, a game where they came from behind to win that. And this place was rocking there. This Marshall crew As we saw it on
Oh,
Friday,
yeah.
they were there 4 hours before kickoff coming, let's say, properly lubricated in the parking lot.
Left.
I don't know if they've left. It's been an aggressive weekend throughout Raleigh for the Thundering Herd fans. Indiana coming strong as well. This is what it's supposed to be about. So happy to be here in person and see fans back in the stands. That was your match winner right there, Herbert Enderle, number 17, in their win over Pitt. An individual moment of brilliance was the difference in that game, getting them to this point. Will it be similar tonight? Marshall's never been on this stage, never to the College Cup. They have 5 total tournament wins all time. Indiana has 8 national championships. Will it become 9, or will Marshall etch their name in the annals of college sports history? Serene Stoika is the official. Waiting as Stoika wants to clear the water bottle from Ali Semla, the goalkeeper for Marshall.
Oh, he's already in trouble for the water bottle.
And he's giving a little attitude back too.
Here we go.
And after a few extra seconds of delay, College Cup final is underway. And this Thundering Herd team loves to possess the ball. Nathan DeSantos plays it back to Ali Semla. He will have the ball at his feet quite a bit as they play out of the back. Paulo Dolabella sprays it out wide to Gabriel Alves. So Devin, what are you looking at early in this match?
For Marshall and the Thundering Herd, I want to watch the tempo in the midfield and how much they're able to bounce on it, because in their semifinal matchup, though they carried a lot of possession, Dallin, the midfield too did. And Dolabella and Max Schneider are very active in their success throughout this season. They weren't on the ball a lot though, and that really hindered their ability to get forward into the final third. You can't rely on these long balls up over the top against a quality team like Indiana. For Indiana, they need to stretch this game. Defensively, I'm not worried about them at all outside of the 2 center backs that I talked about. This is a structured squad who can mold themselves to opposition. But once they start to explode going the other way, they need to be a bit better, clinical, if you will, in decision making. Lately knew that. He was that main topic of discussion when we spoke to him about it. So can they explode once they do get the ball and go the other way?
And both these teams come in at top 5 in the nation in goals against average. Semla, who just airmailed that pass, and Roman Celentano, the keeper for Indiana, both have 10 shutouts in the year. There's Todd Yeagley, his 11th season at Indiana, 12th coaching overall as a head coach. He is part of a dynasty in college soccer. His father, Jerry Yeagley, 30 years as Indiana coach, 6 national championships. And then Todd taking over, winning one in 2012. This is Todd's 4th trip to a College Cup. They lost in 17 and 16. 17, they got themselves to the final, falling to Stanford 1-0 in double overtime. He's looking for his 2nd star and the 9th overall for Indiana. Colin Masiunas on the ball for Morgantown, the one player in the starting lineup for Marshall that is from the States, from America. Vinicius Fernandez, the Brazilian on it. Knocks it out to his countryman, Alves. Linking up for Fernandez, but read well by Mooney. Enderle can't control. And there will be a foul called as Enderle was taken down.
You will notice tactically for this Marshall squad, the technical side is great, but Chris Grassi, 4th season at the helm for Marshall head coach. Not a bad record. Remember, struggled to even hit 500 just 2 seasons ago in 2019, put this team into the stratosphere, and they haven't looked back since. Didn't lose a lot of numbers coming into the 2020 season. Quality chemistry, and defensively, if they do make mistakes, that tactical foul, they know how to step in quick.
Grassi, you mentioned him building this program in his 4th year. They had a winning percentage of 38% before he arrived. In his 4 years, 62%, almost 63%. And that's with a couple rough years at the beginning to get things going. As you see, sub 500 records. The last 2 years, they've been outstanding. Won back-to-back Conference USA championships. They went to the 2019 tournament, first time ever. They beat their in-state rival WVU. And now the next time they're in the tournament, they've won 4 games, and 3 of them over soccer royalty in Clemson. Georgetown. Clemson was the #1 overall seed in this tournament. Georgetown, the defending champs. And then they beat UNC, who was in the College Cup for their 3rd time in 5 years to get to this point. Now Indiana ahead of them. Thomas Ward battling for possession there for Indiana. Brett Beebe with the throw in back to Joey Mayer, freshman we talked about earlier, back to the redshirt freshman Daniel Mooney. They both have started every match they've been available for this year. Cleared out by Alves and Zendali. And Surin Stoica is going to come right in and get involved. Second foul, both on Alves. A freshman from Sao Paulo. He was Conference USA all-freshman team this year.
As you know, Dallin, I'm always appreciative of gentlemen introducing themselves to the opposition. Welcome to the national championship. Alves, huh? Some fun on that right-hand side. A lot of speed in Endley. That's going to be a fun battle.
Center back mentality in you there? Like to get stuck in?
I mean, you could look at it that way. I'm not going to say no.
Yeah.
Neither confirming nor denying. I know a couple of referees are listening right now, so got to keep my friends behind the scenes.
AJ Palazzolo drops into some space, sprays it out to Nick Sessick. The pit transfer. Good ball played in. Malun Gumbali was the potential recipient, but defended well. Milo Yosef gets cleaned out as he tried to possess the ball. Talented forward. Fernandez on it again. Semla, the German native, taking quite a route like Odysseus to get here. The keeper from Germany to Barton Community College in Kansas for 1 year, then to Monroe College in the Bronx in New York for 1 year, and finds his way to Marshall as Chris Grassi has sold this program to players from all over the planet to come here, get a great education, and play for a community that truly loves them, and you can see that from their fan support. Here's Endley, battling, still Endley. Oh, a little bit of contact, and Surin Stoica waves it off. Got Eric Leinhos on it. Santos, the transfer from Duquesne, has played every minute their last 11 games. Out to Alves. Fernandez able to turn. He's got Dolabella next to him. Doesn't play him. Does now, and Dolabella didn't want it at that point. Leinhos dinks it over the top to Dolabella. His layoff does not connect. Alves. Yosef, last year's Conference USA Player of the Year. Finds Fernandez, a nice pocket of space. Fernandez trying to turn, contact again, waved away by Stoica. Penalty or not for you, Devin?
No, not enough contact. And to be honest, the one on the other end of the field as well, it's grazed, right? I mean, is there contact between the two of them? There's a little bit, but not enough, and certainly not enough to point to the penalty mark. And let's be very clear, I'm not just talking about in the opening minutes of a national final. Watch this ball down into the corner, little touch, starts to lean into it. The backside, it looks like he grabs him, but he doesn't. It's the foot dragging. Endley's looking for it, and the other way, that's a flop almost.
You're tough. You're tough. What do I know? I think it's a penalty both ways. I think there should have been 2 spot kicks, but I don't know what I'm talking about.
Told you, I'm keeping friends. We got referee assessors in the house, met them just before the game.
I'm glad your allegiances are real clear.
No, here's the thing about it, Down. Set that standard, but let them play. I've talked to you about this before.
True.
If you're going to let the boys play a little bit, just be consistent across the board. That's all I mind.
Which he was right there.
Yes, spot on.
Both sides.
Be definitive. You know, I don't want a gray area. If I have to look at it and question as to whether or not it's a pen, we have a problem.
Leinhos, he's got men in the box, clips it in. Good recovery, header still loose. Falls to Fernandez. He's going to give it a go, deflects around, and Celentano, a sophomore from Naperville, Illinois, takes control. He was the Big Ten goalkeeper of the year.
little hesitancy from Roman Celentano to come off his line. Watch right here. Starts to come, then comes back. Saw some indecision from the goalkeeper in the semifinal that plagued them a bit. Fortunately enough, didn't come back to hurt them defensively. Notice how stout Indiana is in their recovery. Again, they are going to concede space. They will give up the possession battle. That's not the end of the world. It's what they force Marshall into their decision-making once it does come to the final third, and if they can close the routes down.
Jamil Roberts, the Englishman, tracks it down. He's got the last 2 game winners in each game there against Georgetown and UNC. Back to Schneider, Max Schneider on it. Broken up by Schmidt. No foul call. Falls to Becerra. Almost. That's the National Player of the Year candidate, 7 red. I haven't called his name yet. Schneider, give it a go. Wide. And right there, you see UNC. I mean, against UNC, Marshall really struggled to get any shots. You see 1 shot on goal for the goal. They've only had 4 shots in their last 2 games total. They've already taken 2 in this game. Is that a credit to them starting better in this game, or has Indiana struggled a little bit with them? What would you attribute that to?
No, Marshall has started better, and it's the rotation that they've moved between Milo Yosef and Jamil Roberts. Roberts primarily employing his trade on the left flank. He's moved up a little bit higher. They're trying to get the speed of Milo Yosef more involved in the game, and what's happened is Indiana recognized that, so they're pinching tight on the outside winger. It's just created a bit more space up top and separation between the back line for Indiana.
You mentioned before that Indiana will concede possession. We'll come back to that as Thundering Herder thundering forward. And there, Schmidt saying he didn't touch him. Stoica says play on, and Dolabella's got it. Lays it off to Yosef. And Yosef's ball goes wanting. Applying some pressure. Eventually, Hoosiers get it out. Fernandez is up after he got taken down. He's got the ball. Indiana conceded a ton of possession against Pitt too. That game was about just Friday night, not long ago. Is there any concern from a physicality standpoint, from an endurance standpoint, to do it again and be chasing for most of the game?
Ask me in the 80th minute.
I will bring it back up.
Yeah, circumvent that entire topic. No, it is a concern for sure, but at this point in time, no.
Dolabella, tons of space. Ball though, wouldn't want that one back.
You also have to recognize that this is a different animal that's taking place in front of us, okay? We're not talking 5-10 games into the season. We're not talking a conference tournament game. As a player, moments are made in special circumstances. This is one of them. You will dig deep into your reserves in order to make that extra step, in order to push the tempo differently, to get stuck in here and there. That's why I'm not concerned for Indiana. Todd Yeagley's not going to be either. He admits that he knows they're going to sit and they're going to chase. They did the same thing in the semifinal matchup against Pitt. It was just questionably as to whether or not they could go the other way and then finish things off. That's my concern.
Yeah. Again, these two teams have been outstanding defensively in recent games. You see their goals against average, both top 5. You see shutouts, they're tied for first with 10 apiece. They have made it difficult for teams to score on them, and particularly, obviously, Marshall's 5 shutouts in their last 7 games. So as their competition has gone up in the tournament, they have maintained that form. Great tackle by Goumbali.
It's easy to look at their opposition early on in the season and go, who did they play? Who did they beat, right? There's the win over Kentucky and the loss to Akron. People might balk at whether or not this was a seasoned or tested team, if you will.
They are the number 10 team in the nation, but I think that was prior to all these wins they've had recently. So they were getting credit for the wins they were racking up against teams that weren't that good. Charlotte's one of probably the best team they played. They can't
control the
nation. Exactly. You got to play. You got to beat who's in front of you, and they've done that. And then while they've proven it to everybody as they've gotten to the tournament and beaten everybody in front of them with some very small numbers next to their name. Beebe looking long for War. Asiunas battling him. Knocked out. Obviously, we're in the middle of the spring championship season here in the NCAA, and this is a fall sport playing in the spring. So much going on. So if you want to know who's the next to hoist the trophy. Go to NCAA.com, your official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. Men's and women's lacrosse coming up here in a couple weeks. Baseball and softball getting going. Softball had their selection show this weekend. Get to NCAA.com to get all the info. Alazzolo with the BB. Becerra can't get on it. Dolabella finds Joseph in a pocket of space. Pings it out to Roberts. He's got Fernandez unmarked in the box, but they recover. Roberts gives it a go. Plymouth Argyle Academy product out in England. Moore can't hold it up.
The distinct point that Marshall was missing in their semifinal match, Alan, was that space that's being occupied just in front. Joey Mayer and Daniel Muni sort of rotating between Milo Joseph and Jameel Roberts at this point in time, but their inability to access it, not even take advantage of it, to access it at all because they were shut down. They respected the center backs of UNC. They knew exactly what was going to be in front of them, so they played from outside in, but now they're pretty much having the go of it. You know, they're able to be tactful on the ball because they have so many numbers up high. That's when they're at their best. Great combination play by Marshall.
Here's Herbert Endley running at pace. He was dangerous against Pitt. He gets the shot off. Just wild. The sophomore had the moment. The Minnesota United Academy product in the semi. He almost had it again here.
And notice the distance that he covers here, because you can give respect. Respect is one thing, but allowing this to progress as far as it did is almost insanity, to be honest. And that Ali Zema on the back line was screaming at his squad to step up into it. You cannot allow Endley, with his pace and his ability to break you down in 1v1 situations, to get a strike off.
He's got 4 career goals. He's a big game player. We mentioned the goal in the last game. He also scored against Marquette, the equalizer. They were down in that game, came back to win in the second or third round of this NCAA tournament. And he won in a double overtime game against Pitt back in 19. He won it in that game. So when big moments come up, Endley's a guy, number 17 in red, to watch. BB tries to connect with Kumbali. Dispossessed by Fernandez. Alves. Here at Cary, North Carolina for the Men's College Cup Final. Marshall in Indiana, Devin Kerr, Dallin Cuff, and Lori Lindsay, your broadcast team. Herbert Endley is on the ball, charging forward, looking for Becerra! Just wide, and Masiunas, did he get a piece of it? Stoika says no. And that is your National Player of the Year candidate in this game, Victor Becerra.
Indiana's young.
The sophomore that could not convert there.
Special players in special moments, because he gets bounced off by Schneider in the midfield, almost manhandled, but watch him just jet right into this space. He's not exactly known for his speed, but it's a great job finding another gear, splits the 2 center backs, and this touch right here just gets away from him. And he's caught in the gray area there, Dallin, of, do I want to get around the goalkeeper? Am I trying to pick out the bottom corner? It's well done at the tail end of it by Simla to close the angle off.
12 goals on the season for him. It's 4th in the nation for Becerra. There's Milo Joseph on it. Finds Fernandez, lays it for Joseph. He'll give it a ride. Right to Celentano's hands.
This is what you expect out of Roman Celentano. Said he was shaky in the semifinal matchup, and to be shaky for him, number 1, is out of character. Number 2 is odd because he does control this team so much, and he never really fully recovered for it. I don't think he was tested that much, to be fair. But in this one early on, ball's being whipped in from the side, combination play, top of the 18, strike from distance. Outside of that one hesitation coming out from the corner, he's been great.
Beebe went through Fernandez. Let's get down to Lori in between the benches. What do you got down there, Lori?
Yeah, I just spoke to the Indiana coaching staff, trying to see how they feel like this first part of this first half is going. Felt like they've gotten stretched a little bit on the press, need to stay tight in between the lines, but still look to get into the lead on the counterattack as much as possible.
Lee has had some opportunities in the transition game. Dolabella to Joseph, who lays it back to Schneider. Linehouse. No play, and looking back post. Celentano comes out to claim. Sesek on it. He switches it back to Beebe. And actually, Bizzarro will come drop and pick it up. Gumbali. Endeli gets there, a lot of contact, and yes, that'll be a foul and maybe more. Alves was talked to earlier, and that's going to be your left back.
Third time's the charm here in the first two. Let him get away with it a little bit. Called a foul, but it was a stern talking to. Leads heavily on Endeli here, and now that's a real cause for concern, Dallin, because Endeli's been very active in the one-on-ones. Gabriel Alves, and the way that they use him in the attack and transition, his ability to now track back and mark up against the young sophomore out of Blaine, Minnesota. You're going to have to keep an eye on that.
Chris Grassi does not substitute a ton, so your left back 20 minutes into this match he's carrying a yellow card. That is absolutely something to watch. As you mentioned, that battle with Endeli would be interesting. You said the first 30 seconds. See how that plays out now. Joe Schmidt, the redshirt junior, over the ball. Ohio native to serve it in, and let's reset this. Drive it in low, headed down off the post! Daniel Mooney almost capitalized. And Endeli just plays it out as Joseph was trying to get on the counter.
They were crawling on the back stick here for separation. Joey Mayer doing a little bit of battle and just check right outside the top of the six. Good job by the center back, creating the space for himself. Textbook header up over the top of the defender, right to the bottom corner. Ali Semla, you're welcome. Kiss that post, buddy.
No doubt. Long ball played. Celentano waits. Schmidt, driven ball, read well by DeSantos. Dolabella, head up in space. Good read by Beebe. As Beebe goes down. We'll tell you about our next MLS match on ABC, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. Saturday afternoon, Western Conference matchup. Second place, LA Galaxy host the Portland Timbers. Yo, Chicharito. Dude can't stop scoring.
He's not bad, is he?
He's got 7 goals. Mexican national team still doesn't seem like they want to call him up for all these international games they have this summer, whether that be Nations League or obviously Copa, like all types of different things going on here. Qualifiers coming up September as Gumbali battles. That game is 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Hernandez drives it out to Alves. He's able to get there.
In the midfield, it's really interesting what Indiana have done with their ability to compact. It is similar to the semifinal matchup, to be fair, against Pitt and how active their midfield is. It's a different shape for Marshall, but they've almost removed, in totality, Max Schneider and Pedro Dolabella. Dolabella playing a little higher, almost convoluting the space with Vitor Diaz. Can't get either one of them on the ball. So you're seeing a lot of rotation to the outside. Opening 10, 15 minutes, they were able to come down Route 1, get their ticky-tack type players on the ball, but Indiana has now stricken those movements to much smaller spaces. The back line's figured it out. They're keeping everything in front of them. Just go side to side. Todd Yeagle will take that all day long.
Marshall's trying to accomplish something that no unseeded team has done before. Now, they started seeding teams to 16 back in 2003. 3 unseeded teams have gotten themselves to the College Cup final, but none have actually won it. Now, granted, because of the COVID year and having 12 less teams than normal, only 8 were seeded, but still Marshall would fall into that category. As Fernandez is on it in space. Still Fernandez, he's gonna give it a hit. He does! Oh, what a save by Celentano!
Just stop it. This is nastiness from Celentano. Bottom corner. I mean, this thing is game, set, match. Bottom corner. 100%. This is a goal. If not for the escapades of one of the most talked about names in between the pipes in college soccer, Marshall's out in front.
Marshall to take the corner. This is only their 6th corner kick of the tournament. Kind of a bizarre stat for a team that possesses the ball so much. In swinger. Cleared out. Nice 1-2 between Fernandez and Joseph. No Fernandez. Schneider on it. Dos Santos. Back to the sophomore from Germany. Bayern Leverkusen was his club growing up in Germany.
I think a lot of people at home will probably look and see just seconds ago, and it's going to continue that way right now, Dallin. How many players are within this half and how close they are in proximity to the back line? But that's nothing new for Marshall. They can break you down in small spaces. They just want to be on the ball. They'll pick and choose their moments. They'll work side to side. You know, if Indiana's willing to give them that, they'll take their time because they want to win the possession battle. That's how they scored their goal against Georgetown. I mean, you had 20 guys outside of the goalkeeper in or around the top of the 18, and yet still they were able to capitalize.
Zara plays it out to War. Holds it up and sends it back to Mooney. Celentano to play it long. Fernandez running at the back line. Still Fernandez. Shot. Save Celentano again.
That's a good one, but the one before is much better. Watch this in transition as it opens up over the right shoulder from Marshall. And Celentano specifically, watch his positioning. He has to cover a lot of ground here because it can go to his right or to his left. He starts to cheat a little to the right, then comes back to his left. Watch this thing dip, gets low, hands extended. I mean, you could teach a lot of this, but some of this is just pure instinct and his ability to lay out and make a fantastic save.
Celentano, 10 shutouts on the year, tied for first in the country. And the Marshall crowd coming to life. Endley skips past the Snyder's challenge. He'll take a shot, and it's just wide! Knocking on the door again.
Indiana's shot, taken by number 17, Herbert Endley.
Smart shift here by Endley coming over. Thomas Warhead actually dropped to the backside, looking for hold-up play. He comes in, pocket just opens up. And it is amazing to me, 25 minutes into this match, how much respect they're giving this young man. You saw the tape in the semifinal. You saw the goal he was capable of. Someone from Marshall's got to step up in and send a message.
He split 2 Pitt defenders and then laced an absolute rocket on top of the net to give them the 1-0 win. Dolabella's got Linos in acres of space, and he plays the right back, getting forward. In a foot race with Beebe, he's going to win it. Chops it back onto his left foot. Short for Joseph, couldn't control it. Fernandez is going to tee it up. Nope. Clever. Alves Celentano claims. Let's get back down to the field. Lori has more on the Thundering Herd. Lori?
Yeah, I'm hearing from the Marshall bench that they're incredibly pleased with how this half is going. They prepared for everything that Indiana's throwing out at them. Now it's just about cleaning up their touches in order to execute in the final third.
Thank you, Lori. Chris Grassie's crew in his 4th year as the head coach came from College of Charleston, where they won a couple Division II titles. Before that, he was an assistant at Michigan. So as he told us, I'm familiar with Indiana. He has tremendous respect for what they've done as a program, how great they've been, and the Yeagley family, both father and son, Jerry, and the current coach, Todd. But he's very clear that we're not the underdog. He thinks his team is the better team, and they can go out and prove that right now. Mayer to Mooney. Long ball looking for Gumbali, picked off by Linehouse. Give him a chance to start striding forward again. He's been up and down this right side. Deflected off of Nate Ward, who just subbed in for Thomas Ward, the last dead ball. Ward, the freshman, Connellsville, Pennsylvania. Product of the Beadling soccer program, great club in Pennsylvania. Masiunas on it, back to Dos Santos. Linos wants it up the right near side here. They don't play him. Dolabella trying to get around the corner on Beebe. Can't do it. Stepping forward into space to Roberts. Vitor Diaz, have not mentioned him much. He is the All-American for Marshall. Player of the year in the conference. On the ball again. Dropping into a little more space here, trying to bring the game into him.
Shades of Valentin Noel in the semifinal matchup against Pitt. Removed the star playmaker, right? I mean, he had 2 quality touches, or even better, looks on goal the entire match.
Nice turn by Dolabella. Fernandez. Roberts. Flipped in. Cleared out. Second corner of the match for the Thundering Herd.
It needs to be noted that although defensively Indiana is working a lot, and we knew they were going to come in, so did Todd Yeagley. The chances from Marshall, good ones, are still from distance. You know, this is coming 20, 25 yards out with a really good goalkeeper that you expect to make those types of saves. As good as they have been, you expect Celentano to step in and help out like that.
Roberts to take. Swinging ball. Headed out by Gumbali. Cut back, played in, looking for Joseph. Off the mark.
Pretty sure Vitor Diaz took a little offense to our comment a second ago with his work down in the corner here. I mentioned ticky-tack before. He can do all the work by himself, though. And there's the center back pairing, right? And Muni, the youngster, quick little cutback. And all you're looking to do here is just find space. You want to put this ball up and allow someone like Milo Yosef or Jamil Roberts to go up and get it.
Diaz on it again. Fernandez. Roberts makes a near post run. Almost fell for Diaz and then peels for a handball. Fans yelling VAR, just in case you're new to college soccer. You cannot review a play like that. There is only few instances for video assisted refereeing, which is VAR. If the ball did or did not cross the goal line on a goal, if there is a disciplinary issue or mistaken identity is when you can look at the replay. And obviously a handball in the box does not fit that criteria.
Well, I can fit into 2 out of 3 of those categories. Mistaken identity and maybe something inside the box, but it's not pen. Watch the chest. It's low. Oh, second review. Didn't look like it was.
Daniel Mooney may have got away with one right there.
Oh, that's low. And you know, the rules, the way that they state now, is that it's at the bottom of your sleeve. Basically, the armpit area, the bottom of your sleeve, where that stops. That's the no-no zone. You extend beyond that. Now you've gotten yourself in trouble. And I tell you, the first look that we saw behind the scenes, I said, no way, not happening. Real time, absolutely not. When you slow it down like that, you can see the arm pinching a little bit.
Yeah.
And the referee didn't have his binoculars on that one.
Ball played through to Dolabella and just couldn't control it. Attempted through ball from Alves. Let's take another look.
Yes, no, maybe so. Watch the right arm. Oh no, it just looks, all right. It's one of those fake images. You know, technology these days.
Good work by our guys in the truck. Thank you for serving that up again.
Saving my job. I mean,
I don't think you get fired for stuff like that. Many people are wrong about a lot of stuff with mics in their mouths, but it's okay.
I'm holding to that one. You just became the agent to argue for me.
Possible turnover here as Ward tries to keep it and does. Falls to Becerra. Becerra's going to topple over and no call. Max Schneider has some choice words for the Mac Hermann finalist. Breaking the action, let's tell you about our next WNBA game on ESPN2 and the ESPN app as always. Tomorrow night, Diana Taurasi, arguably the best to ever do it in the Mercury in Washington to take on the Mystics at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Then Asia Wilson and the Aces square off against Brianna Stewart. Maybe the future best to ever do it, and the Storm. Seattle beat Las Vegas 97-83 on Saturday. Great stuff coming your way in the WNBA as always. Ryan Wittenbrink coming in for Nate Ward at the last break. Ward, the freshman, he was subbed on and then subbed off. See if there's any injury issue there for Ward. Wittenbrink, the redshirt sophomore, scored in the Elite Eight game, number 18 in red, against Seton Hall to put them into the College Cup. They won that game 2-0. Nice control. Diaz continues to drop deeper to get on the ball. Linehouse in a foot race with Goombali. And Goombali just barely wins. And the sophomore's able to get it out. Third corner of the match for Marshall. Third corner of the match, as we said, coming into this game, they only have 5 corners in the whole tournament. That's 4 matches. They only have 5 corners. So we'll see if they can deliver here from this set piece. Roberts again. In swinging, loose. Poke to the left. Saved by Celentano. And Hoosier is down on the end line. And the referee, Stoika, telling the training staff to get out there immediately. Trying to ID who that is as the player's on his back. I believe, yeah, that's Joe Schmidt. It should be Palazzolo, excuse me. Palazzolo's up and walking off. Gives Indiana
Number 4, AJ.
players a chance to get some water. Let's take another look here.
It's a very difficult take from Vitor Diaz, top of the 18, as this ball comes back out. Rough challenge on the back post, but you know, coming up, the apex, when it comes up off the turf like that, it's very difficult to get enough power, follow through, and keep it on frame. And Vitor Diaz does a good job to get 2 out of 3 right. You know, he's able to redirect it into traffic. Doesn't have a lot of power behind it, but he gets it on frame. That's most important. Celentano again, though, great save, and our referee doing what he's supposed to do, letting everybody know that, you know, no more hydration breaks in this one.
Yeah, and time for a water break. Let's get back on the field as Palazzolo has to go off the field because the training staff came on. And Palazzolo, this redshirt senior, St. Louis, spent time in the US U17 setup, part of the residency in Bradenton, Florida, before making his way to Indiana. Also played for the great club St. Louis FC. Out to Nick Sessick. Endely was very effective early on. We haven't heard much from him recently. 8.5 minutes to go in the first half.
No, but watch this switch, though, because with Whitbrink coming on, they move Endely up top there. That's a mismatch with Ian Dos Santos. Much more speed for the youngster from Indiana, and especially because you've got the yellow card by Alves at the left back spot. Whitbrink can turn up the tempo himself.
Bad turnover. Dolabella's going to have a numbers forward situation. Josef on the left. Cuts inside. He's it back. Schneider's going to keep it in, though. Roberts sees Dolabella! Just out of reach. Oh, the senior from Brasilia was inches away.
What's so difficult against Marshall, because you're looking at a holding midfielder that's made a 45-yard run, separating on that back right side of the Indiana back line, and Jamil Roberts on the other side with his pace and his presence in the 9 spot or out in the 11, coming in. Now he's the distributor. There's so many guys on the front line for the Herd, and the guys that come out of the midfield that you have to be so aware of. That's why I talked about the separation on the back line and to watch it, because communication is difficult in general at this level, yet alone when you get someone like a Vitor Diaz. But then you get Roberts, you get Dolabella of the middle, Fernandez on the right side. It's a relative who's who of attacking options moving forward.
Now, there's Josef. As we said, he was last year's Conference USA Player of the Year, 12 goals in that campaign. Only 4 in this game, but 4 this year, but he's still very dangerous as he talks with Sorin Stoica. The current Conference USA Player of the Year is Vitor Diaz. Let's take a look and see what happened here. And Nick Sessick was saying get up right away. Looked like Josef may have been trying to embellish his shot to the face a bit. Josef, the sophomore from Germany, used to play for Borussia Mönchengladbach, one of Germany's better clubs, although not having the best year, to say the least. Ollie Semla on the ball. Over hits his pass. Sessick flicks it on to Wittenbrink. And Sessick continues his run. Dos Santos reads it the whole way, though. And Roberts goes back from offside position. First offside of the match.
Indicated against the Thundering Herd.
Mayer looking long for Endely. Mbali almost wins the second ball. Endely does. He's crowded out quickly by the Thundering Herd. Diaz. over. Endeli now running the back line. Know how dangerous he can be. Almost gets it through to Becerra. Still might be Becerra. Shot cleaned up late by Masiunas for take it out for the corner. First corner of the match. Victor Becerra almost broke the deadlock.
The pace, the separation, we've talked about it a couple of times, and the redirect by Max Schneider puts it right in front of the path. Victor Becerra, his last second tackle though, Masiunas. It's nice when you don't have to call a center back's name, and when you do, it's for good measure.
Becerra to take it. First corner for the Hoosiers. Driven ball toward the back post, and oh, wow! Daniel Mooney hit the post earlier, and this one was on a platter.
He's going to want this one back because the spectacular that was Becerra and his ability to pick out the far post is actually probably going to be overshadowed by the fact that Semla doesn't do a good job coming off his line. And the center back from Indiana, Mooney, I mean, this is stuff where just lean into it, fall, anything. Just keep your arms out of the way and hope that it knocks something off your body and somehow, some way, outside of the 8x8.
Joe Schmidt goes down in a heap. He wanted a foul. He doesn't get it. Called on him. Indiana has 6 shots, none of them on goal. They did hit a post, and it was Mooney who did it earlier off a dead ball. Linehouse now coming the other way. He's got Roberts back, plays him. Schneider in space. Almost falls for Fernandez. Beebe was there to take care of it. 2.5 to go here, first half. Still 0-0, but we've had chances, that's for sure. Both teams have hit the post. $5,000 tickets were able to be sold to this match. Only 2,800 on Friday for the doubleheader. Some rule changes took place in Carolina by the governor announced over the course of the weekend. So now 5,000 available for this match. And all 5,000 were sold. A lot of atmosphere early, Devin. I feel like it's almost like a tension, a quiet tension now has fallen over this crowd.
And people are nervous. And the fact that it's going back and forth.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that the game has opened up, but opportunities, nerve-wracking for both these supporters groups.
Schneider out to Alves. And 2 Marshall players there. I wasn't sure who to take it, but it goes to Dalabella, back to Linehouse. Drum coming to life for the Thundering Herd here. It's been a long time since folk were fans too. They've got to get conditioned again to make it the full 45 and do a break into 45. It ain't easy. Celentano's ball picked off by Diaz. A dangerous area. The All-American is on it, working on Sesek. Still working on Sesek. Oh, good, well defended. 25 seconds to go, 23 now. Corner will be taken. And Soren Stoica is actually going to stop the clock as Sesek slow to get up.
Just got knocked in the eye here at the tail end of it in this tackle. It's a really good tackle by Nick Sesek, just outside the top of the 18. So careful as a defender in these situations. You leave your feet, you better be absolutely sure you're going to be able to get a challenge on the ball, especially like someone like Vitor Diaz.
And something to note though, because Sesek had the training stay, came out, he has to go off the pitch. They can substitute for him, and they are going to do that right now. And it believe the dynasty will continue. I believe that is Ben Yeagley. Yes, that is the coach, Todd Yeagley's son, the grandson of Jerry Yeagley, the great coach of Indiana, 6-time national champion, 30 years as the coach. Ben checking in the match to close the half. Lineholtz takes it. Floated ball toward the spot. Bodies fall. Celentano comes to claim, and there will be a foul called. Half's going to tick down, and we're going into the break 0-0. Devin, your thoughts on the first 45?
Little surprise from Marshall at their ability to allow Indiana to explore right around midfield or so, especially with Endley. You know, they're pressing, which I'm not surprised at all, but the back line isn't stepping as well, so there's about a 25-30 yard gap. Got to fix that in the second half. Indiana, on the other hand, not bad at all. Just keep the game in front of you. Got to take advantage of your opportunities because they're both coming for both squads.
Well, we're going to take a break here in Cary, North Carolina. When we come back, we'll hear from the coaches. 0-0, College Cup, everything to play for in the second half. Welcome back to Salem Stadium at WakeMed Soccer Park in Cary, North Carolina, the site of the College Cup final here tonight between the Marshall Thundering Herd and Indiana. 0-0 at the break. Alongside Devin Kerr, I'm Dallin Cup. It is 0-0, but not for one to try. And there were opportunities, and started with Herbert Enderle, the guy that broke the deadlock for Indiana against Pitt in the semifinal.
Heavyweight title fight in full effect, and you cannot allow this passage of play to continue if you're Marshall. Multiple times in the first half, space out in front, Enderle trying to pick out the bottom corner. There would be a reaction, though. A couple coming from Marshall. Joseph from distance, you would see Celentano get involved. He was a key factor for Indiana. And how about the center back, Daniel Muni? The one off the post on one end, can't pick out on the other side. This had an interesting flow to it, where it just seemed like when things started to settle down, it went into overdrive. Here's the chance that I'm talking about. That's a sitter that's got to be in the back of the net. And you have to ask questions of Ali Semla. So commanding of his box, coming off his line, doesn't get anywhere near that cross.
One thing to note, you see 8 to 6 in shots, but Indiana has yet to hit the target. They hit the post. You saw the sitter from Mooney. What else jumps out to you, Deb?
That's the main issue, for sure, because it's the same exact thing that plagued them in their semifinal game against Pitt. Yeagley recognized it. He said, listen, we're going to sit back. We're going to create chances, but we're not going to have a bunch. In order to win a championship match against Marshall, we got to be clinical in the final third. They have not been.
They have not done that. Coach Yeagley knows what it takes to win a title. He won back in 2012. This program is about expectations to always win championships. We'll see if they can close it and find a way to get their 9th title in the second 45. Kickoff coming up next.
You're watching the NCAA College Cup Final. Go Hoosiers!
We're getting ready to kick off the second half here. College Cup on the line between Marshall and Indiana. 0-0 at the break, all to play for in the second half. Let's take a look at the Capital One Cup standings as teams compete for a combined $400,000 in student-athlete scholarships from Capital One. Right now, Stanford in the women's side and a slight lead. Alabama a little bit more on the men's side.
Stanford's got a monopoly on this, huh?
Well, they do have a lot of sports. They've cut some of them, but they are outstanding in everything they do.
And smart. Very smart.
And very, very smart.
Yeah.
That we definitely know. Log on to CapitalOne.com for more information. Both teams are on the pitch. And we're getting set up here to talk to Todd Yeagley, the son of Jerry Yeagley, who you're looking at right now. Let's get to Todd. Coach, thank you for your time. You guys had a solid first half. It was an entertaining match. What was your message to the team in the break to break the deadlock?
Well, I mean, Marshall asked a lot of questions with their spacing, with their movement. Our press wasn't effective in the first 20, so we dropped our line a little bit. And we're going to pick and choose on when we step out. And I think their ability to want to jam ball centrally, I think we can nip them, get them on the transition, and then on moments we could push our lines up a little bit and make it hard for them to play out, because they do like to play and a bit stubborn with it. So it's just picking and choosing those moments, and then controlling the tempo when we can. Those are the big messages from that. We create the best chances of the half. So they were there for us. We just got to convert.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And he is right. They hit the post One time, Daniel Mooney, the sophomore center back, hit the post once. He also missed a sitter that could have been a goal. But overall, right now, we are at 0-0 right now as we kick off the second half. Sren Stojko blows the whistle. College Cup final. Somebody's walking away as a national champion. Are we 45 minutes from finding that out, or will it be more like it was on the women's side earlier today? With that said, let's get down to Lori Lindsay, former women's national team player who's on the sidelines. Lori?
Yeah, just add to what Coach Todd Yeagley said. I spoke with assistant coach for Indiana University, Kevin Robson. He said they're going to move Indley into the middle, more central up top to see if he can get on the break in transition. They're not afraid to continue to sit deep. They felt like they created enough chances. And then also, can they get Becerra on the ball more often to help create up top?
That was Indley trying to turn their 17 in red. Becerra 7 in red. Good step by Mooney. Becerra is the National Player of the Year candidate, one of the 3 finalists. Ryan Wittenbrink plays it in. He started the half in place of Thomas Ward, the one change on the field. Marshall's 11 remains unchanged. They have not subbed at all in the first half. And just so that you are tuning into college soccer, you can sub in the second half and re-enter the match. So anybody that exits the pitch is not necessarily done for the day. What are your thoughts on having Indley be more central, Devin?
Oh, I talked about it 25, 30 minutes in the match. How it was a mismatch for the back line. There's space there. You know, the speed is a big one for me because as Becerra plays alongside Indley, now you have to ask questions if you're on the Marshall back line. Do I pay as much respect as I have? Because the answer is no to start that, but do I pay as much respect as I have to Indley? No, you have to get tighter. But as you get tighter on him, now Becerra in those finite little spaces, he can operate more. Yeah. And you've still got the speed of Wittenbrink on the outside that gave Alves a lot of problems in the first half. And remember, he's sitting on a yellow card.
Yeah. 16 for the Thundering Herd, your left back at the bottom part of your screen right there. Gabriel Alves has the 1 card issued in the first half. Took a yellow 20 minutes in, as he committed a couple fouls, and the last one was a professional foul against Herbert Indley. Stop a break. Paulo Dalla Bella, Brazilian on the ball, knocks it out to Max Schneider, the German. A couple other Brazilians connecting, Diaz and Alves. Colin Masiunas on the ball. Brett Beebe with the throwback to Joey Mayer, freshman. Joe Schmidt pings it out to Nick Sessick, connecting with Becerra. Read very well by DeSantos. And it will be Thundering Herd with throw. Marshall on the year, 72% of their goals, 21 of 29 have come after the half. That's how they won against Georgetown 1-0. That's how they won against UNC 1-0. We'll see if that trend can continue. Indley on it. 1v1 with Masiunas, the center back, pulled out a little wide. Cuts inside, turns on the jet. Still Indley. Goes down. And the spot is going to be right outside the 18. Will there be a card? Yes, there will be. Man, Indley has a different gear. And Masiunas will take the yellow.
In that semifinal matchup, there was really only one bright spark on the front line for Indiana. It was Indley. Sometimes when you get players like this that are feeling their performance, you just got to let them go. And he had support over the right shoulder. But look at this focus. Just splits 3 defenders. Even Schneider can't catch up. Dos Santos stuck flat-footed. Great job by Indley to exploit the space in front of him.
Minnesota United Academy product from Blaine, Minnesota. He was a high school All-American. He was Mr. Soccer at Minnesota, Big Ten All-Freshman team last year. This year, second team All-Big Ten in his sophomore campaign. And he showed on the national stage why, with big-time performances throughout this tournament. And now an opportunity here.
Now you've got a real problem if you're Ali Semla because of the ball strikers in front of you. Joe Schmidt, his ability to go one way. Becerra will ask multiple questions. 4 is an interesting look. Thought he would have gone 5. That's a difficult angle to pick out because it's so close to the top of the 18, but if anyone, it's Becerra.
Off the touch, Becerra driven, saved, loose, oh! It didn't matter because Joey Mayer was offside, but Dare Tawando right there.
Old school stuff, just get it outside the wall. Even though it was small in general, mistake by Marshall, they only go 4 because not only from the set piece, but as the ball is touched, there's not enough to rush. No one comes in except one center back, and look at all the space that Becerra has. Pick your poison. Goes low with pace, good save, but that's twice that Indiana have missed sitters right around the 6-yard box.
And you see he was offside. The flag did go up, but here's potentially another opportunity. Becerra goes down all too easily in the box, and that'll be turned over. That was the first shot on goal. Asking question of Semla, and he stepped up. And now here comes Alves to Dolabella. Numbers in front, but he will pull it back. Alves, the outside back, operating centrally. Max Schneider knocks it over to Josef. Josef and Diaz, the last two Conference USA Players of the Year. Ping it back and forth. Josef cutting inside, playing a teasing ball in, but Dolabella couldn't get there.
I'm just going to plant this seat now and understand that for a team, offside or not, you start missing chances like this.
Yeah.
It does something to your psyche where you start second guessing whether you're a center back or not. Is this thing ever going to go in?
Yeah.
Right? And Becerra from at the top of the 18. Daniel Muni, of course, twice in the first half, once off the post. Now Jack Mayer. I understand he's in an offside position, but you look back over as a player with all your boys on the field and say, what do we got to do to get one in the back of the net?
It's a very good point. And those have been both their center backs. Mooney and Mayer have had their best chances, but those are chances that you just need to put away, period. And Diaz goes down hard. And Joe Schmidt is now going to go in the book.
Referee let him play a little bit in the first half, but now he's tightening his grip on this game as the tackles start to fly. Gabriel Alves all the way back midway through the first half point is the first recipient. Now cards are being brandished a little bit more regularly. Late tackle there for sure on Vitor Diaz.
Yellow card issued on the play to Indiana's number 8, Joe Schmidt.
Back to Roberts, deflected by Becerra, but Roberts will win the foot race. Wittenbrink for the clear. And looks like Becerra's down in the middle of the pitch. Yes, he is. And they call on the training staff immediately. That's your Big Ten Player of the Year, first team All-American, National Player of the Year, the Matt Herman Trophy finalist, one of 3 players. Valentin Noel played for Pitt in that semifinal, so 2 of the 3 got it to College Cup. And Becerra's up, and he's okay. Gloria Amanda, we talked about in the halftime, nation's leading goal scorer from Oregon State. Becerra looks like he's up and okay.
Just the midsection. Checking on dinner, making sure he's all right.
I'm going to leave midsection alone. We're going to keep moving. Maybe I'll read a promo. Let's do that. Spring season underway here. Spring championship season, the fall championship season. Becerra comes right in looking for a piece of Dolabella. So many different titles being given away. Of course, 1 here tonight, 2 tonight actually, the women and the men here in men's soccer. Go to NCAA.com, your official online home for all 90 NCAA championships to learn more, get the latest information, ticket options, all that on NCAA.com. Stoica, the referee, made contact, but they still made it to its destination. Wittenbrink almost knocked it on to Josef. Josef working on Cesic. 1v2, and they'll take it out for a corner again. 5th of the match. Marshall had 5 corners coming into this game for the entire tournament. The 4 previous games, they now have the 5th corner of the match. On Eric Lineholst, the right back is over it. Jamil Roberts is short. Roberts exits. Flipped in toward the spot. Dolabella tried to get his head on it. Comes down to Enderle. Some complaints for handball there, but Enderle now a chance to break. A lot of green and white jerseys around him. Lineholst is all over him.
Tail end of this thing. Enderle just pulling up, stretching this right calf of his. More of attrition starting to kick in here. So active for Indiana. This front line, as mentioned, he was the bright spotlight for the Hoosiers in their semifinal match. Of course, got the goal that sent them here. He's doing a lot of work, both on and off the ball, and his runs are eventually going to creep up. That's what you alluded to in the first half. You know, and I understand it's on the offensive side of the ball, but he is working defensively. Needs help, to be honest. They need some sort of support when they move forward because he can't do it all on his own.
Dolabella turns out of trouble. Knocks it out to Alves. Only Semla played back to his feet. Diaz. Palazzolo. Alves. Leaves it off to Schneider. Numbers in the box. We'll play it in, looking for Yosef. Nothing doing. Battle with Malun Gumbale and Lineholst, and Lineholst wins the battle there. Gets the call. Chris Grassi looking to win his first national title. He was at Division II, University of Charleston. He was part of 2 teams who were runners-up. They've made it to this stage of the D2 level. But now here, the D1 level, first time Marshall's ever here. Only 5 tournament wins in their history. Their first one was in 2019, trying to make history here and really put Marshall on the college soccer map. Put a star on the crest of their jerseys. Yosef charging at Sessa. Yosef trying to cut to the right foot. Shot bends wide. Malun Gumbale goes down.
This is really similar to the strike that Becerra had in the second half against Pitt, where he just cutting across, pulls it back over to the right shoulder, and then the trailing space on the back post, just asking it to tuck itself home. Not enough English on the ball, though. Well, they are tending to Gumbale just to come off of the story. As Gumbale is actually looking a lot more than we thought he would.
And you see Jerry Yeagley there wondering if Gumbale is going to be okay. An institution in college soccer. Todd Yeagley's father, 30 years at the helm, 6 national championships.
The Godfather.
The Godfather. Preach, man. 16 college cups. He made it to 12 finals. They made it to 16 as a program. He was there for 12 of them. He leaves. Todd Yeagley takes over. He gets to the 2012 final. They win that. This is his 4th final. He's been a national coach of the year. And then how about his sons? We saw Ben feature in the first half for a few minutes, and Grant, the freshman, on this squad as well. It is a family tradition in Indiana. And he talked a lot about that it's not so much pressure, but it's an expectation. This is what you come to Indiana for, is to play in these moments, to be part of these games, and we play for each other, and we play for all the guys that came before us. What is really the true essence of a program when it's not just about the 11 on the field, it's the hundreds that have played before. As Diaz charges through the middle of the Hoosiers team, he hesitates, gets the shot at the flex. Celentano, and he didn't give up the rebound because on the doorstep was Roberts.
Another very difficult save for Roman Celentano. And this is why you cannot allow him to run. Endley on one end. Look at all the space. You just can't. You got to step into this, and it comes really late from the center back, Daniel Muni. Notice he sits. He's got support. If you're the lone soldier on the back line, then you can pay that respect. Otherwise, you've got to step in there because the support is there. Step up into the space and apply the pressure.
And let's get down to Laurie with more on Marshall.
Yeah, and just hearing from the Marshall bench and saying that they feel like all the momentum is going their way. It's just a matter of time. They're fine with staying compact, just making sure they keep Endley at bay. Other than that, just keep pressing.
Joseph tries to dink it over the top, but well read by Beebe. Brett Beebe making a big interception there. And you can see the crowd and see a little energy coming more from the Marshall fans, as I think they are reflecting what Laurie's talking about over there, that the pressure is mounting on the Hoosiers. They can feel it. Diaz skipping around.
And down to your point about the fans, even the coaching staff for Marshall knows how important they are, egging them on, telling them to keep cheering. These fans, the sea of green behind me is wild, and they know how important they are to keep motivating this team.
No doubt, and wild is the right word. They again were there Friday when we had the semifinal. 5 hours before kickoff, they were in the parking lot, ready to go. Let's say beverages in hand. And even more came down, more supporters came down over the weekend, and they are enjoying their time in Raleigh, are hoping they see history and trying to urge their team forward. As Ben Yeagley checks in the match.
They had some kind of RV setup over there. Unfortunately, the eviction notice was served that one.
Their RV did get tossed out of that lot they were in, but guess what? The party continued. They were not worried about it as Becerra spins off a little trouble.
Marshall maniacs.
See Malum Gumbale still getting worked on the sidelines.
It's tight. Very tight on that leg that they're working. Just went down top of the 18, pulled up lane. Did he tweak it? That's going to be the key question moving forward.
And comes Della Bella forward. He's able to dink it toward the back post. Nobody home but Wittenbrink. Yosef trying to roll Mooney unsuccessfully. Nice turn by Endley. He's dragged down by Dolabella. Milo Yosef better be careful. A lot of descent there right in Stoika's face. Going to pick up a yellow for no reason.
This one's a little light, to be fair. Watch the turn inside. It's really well done on the outside by Endley, but to be fair, he doesn't establish his position. He slips. He doesn't have full control. That's the argument coming from Dolabella as well. I'm siding with Marshall on this one.
Joey Mayer, a couple heavy touches into the midfield. He can get the pass to Thomas War, who's on for Gumbale.
Uh-oh. Poor. You normally see that from Marshall's back line. That good quality on the ball building out. Those long balls across are quite calculated, and they do take that measure. Still surprised that they haven't found a way, given the space that's there, because again, Endley and Wittenbrink, we talked about that combination before, but with the change of Gumbale going off, they're looking for a balance at this point in time, because as much work as he's done defensively, that goes back to the point a second ago that you can't have one player do it all, and everything has been through the right or Endley coming down the middle. You're not seeing it from a striker in the 9, you're not getting a presence on the left mid. You want to challenge this herd. You got to create separation and apply pressure. They just haven't been able to do it for the Hoosiers.
Almost had one bad turnover, almost had a second one. Sesek steps forward though. Knocks it it over to Schmidt. Yegley. Wittenberry trying to get by Limehouse. Limehouse wins that battle. Joseph stepping forward. Trying to find Roberts. Flag goes up. Far side assistant. Brian Graves was all over it.
Momentum is one thing, decision making is another for Marshall right now. And even though they're progressing heavily over this half-field mark and really applying a lot of pressure to Indiana, they have not been very impressive in or around the top of the 18. A lot of poor decision making. There's another one from Milo Yosef where he could have easily attacked, cut inside, taken the space available to him. Instead he slows down, and for no apparent reason. Options are there. You take the most difficult one and you remove all the great ones around you. It's something, the judgment has been clouded over the past couple of matches. Saw the same thing in their semifinal match as well as the quarterfinal. And yes, they were able to find victory, but not without post-haste in some of their actions when they did move into the final third.
Nice touch by Schneider to step out of some trouble. Fernandez. Joseph. Fernandez. Schneider. He'll hit it from there. Doesn't. Dolabella. Alongside Devin Kerr, I'm Dallin Cuff. Lori Lindsay, former national teamer, on the sidelines here from Cary, North Carolina. It's the College Cup. We handed out a women's trophy earlier today. Santa Clara winning their first title since 2004. And we see some more history here as Vitor Diaz is in space, lays it off for Fernandez. Pass pulled him wide, back towards Roberts. And great reading of it by Beebe. Not out of trouble yet. Alves. Fernandez now out wide. Our women's match came down to penalties, 4-1 win for the Broncos. Little 1-2. Still fought, still loose, and the last ditch defending by Mayer. Diaz is down in the area, slow to get up. He's up now. Joseph on the ball, looking for the cross. Fernandez tries to bring it down. Clever by the Brazilian. Alves into the attack. Alves gives it the shot. Not what you want.
Yeah, Nick Sessick in the first half on one end of the field, just outside the top of the 18. He said as a defender, when the opposition gets this close, you have to be very careful with your decision making. Joey Mayer gets everything right on his challenge, just outside the top of the 6. Gets stuck in, high boot for sure. Vitor Diaz had an excellent vision of what he wanted to do. Center back had other ideas.
Dolabella, who's just on the ball, was egging on the Thundering Herd crowd. You heard everybody get loud as Indiana fans reacted to it. Under 26 minutes to go. People starting to feel it right now. Our next MLS match is on ABC, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app Saturday afternoon. Western Conference matchup, second place LA Galaxy host the Portland Timbers. Coverage begins at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Chicharito's got 7 goals. He can't stop scoring. Can one player from the Thundering Herd, though, break the deadlock? Maybe shot! Oh, Celentano. A little loose with it. Fernandez almost had it.
Easy, big fella. You've done everything right, all the difficult things, but sometimes it's the easy ones. Got to slow the game down, take a big sigh right here. Little Emmy on the back end of it too, on the late run. Lovely little dummy, to be fair, by Vinicius Fernandez to allow this play to come right through. Sometimes, Dallin, it's the no touches or just the tiny little ones that allow the rest of this to develop. We saw that in the semifinal matchup where Vitor Diaz, though maybe not necessarily at his highest level, one little touch in the back post, Jamil Roberts answers the call.
Joseph. Running at pace, blasted off a Hoosier, and we're going to another corner. Pressure continuing to mount. Sixth corner of the match for the Thundering Herd. We'll have a couple subs. Malum Gumbale comes back in the match for Thomas War. And in comes Joao Souza for Vinicius Fernandez. Souza, a sophomore from Orlando City. And also now AJ Palazzolo comes back in for Ben Liegli, and Liegli's still making his way off the pitch. First sub of the match for the Thundering Herd. Higher ball played in. Schneider trying to head it down. And some appeals from some Marshall players. Waved off by Stoica. I don't know if they thought he got fouled. I don't know.
More along the lines of, surprised that he's not able to get this one on frame. Max Schneider heading down. Muni doing a good job just applying his presence. Now, it is interesting, between all the different programs that we've had an ability to lay eyes on it, there's a rough challenge. Mazzara. Little housekeeping for our referee. All the programs we get an opportunity to lay our eyes on, how different they are in their ways in terms of substitutions. You get a Marshall team that likes to keep all of its team intact, doesn't make a lot of changes. Took them 75 minutes in the Georgetown match to make one, as opposed to Georgetown, who will rotate 4, 5, 6 players at a time. Of course, the defending national champion got bounced because of their ability to keep that chemistry together. Chris Grassi knows what he wants. Talked about Indiana having it bred into their program. Marshall's not that far behind with the identity they've created under their manager.
Mazzara floats it toward the back post. Semla way off his line. Corrals it. He's looking to start a little break here the other way. Diaz on it. Roberts ahead. Gumbale took out Diaz, and Diaz is down still. And Roberts wheels it back and plays it out. The referee, Srin Stoica, you can see it. I think he completely missed it. He's going to go converse with his near side AR, Eric Weisbrod, excuse me. In real time, it's right in front of us, Devin, from our broadcast position. It looked like it was a bit cynical in nature.
And he was trying to allow this to play on, but look, there's a touch for sure. The brunt of it, though, comes on the second one with the follow-through. He can't control that because his leg's out in front of him. There's a foul for sure. But it's not as malicious as it looked because it's actually the follow-through when he's coming down on the player that causes more contact. And just for a couple seconds there, Gumbale being read the riot act. You got to figure that his time is done.
Alves needs to be a little careful. With my basketball background, when he spiked the ball, I was like, you're going to get teed up? He's already on a yellow. He was not too happy with the official. Made it pretty clear. Alan Masiunas on it. Nathan DeSantos, the two center backs.
Lino's from really high line right now on this right flank, going after, or trying to at least. The rotation for Marshall has easy.
Celentano under pressure, just had to get it out of dodge. He turns it over.
Cesic with his hands up going, what are you guys doing? Just knock this thing out.
Diaz on the ball. First team All-American, back to Schneider.
Think there's a home team?
About a 6-hour drive from Marshall and Huntington, West Virginia, down here to Cary, North Carolina. 5 hours, 45 minutes, but that fan base definitely spans across the state. They're out here in full force, looking for history. Never has a Marshall program had this opportunity. Been in the College Cup and then in the final. Indiana has been here more than anybody. 16 finals appearances. 8 titles. Schneider using his body well, working off of Becerra. Joseph now looking for the switch. And Souza was there, but he overhit him. Get some more substitutions here for Indiana. Nate Ward going to check back in for Wittenbrink. Freshman Ward.
Let's see how much pressure now they apply on this left side of Marshall, switching Enderle back over here. To be fair, let's say the best we've seen out of him and the opportunities for Indiana moving forward were probably at the beginning of the first half, where he did start on this right-hand side. A lot of space. We've alluded to the yellow card for Alves as well, and some people at home might think, so he's on a yellow card, so what? Take advantage of that. You know, force him into a decision with the speed, with the space, run at it, because even if he's willing to step up, that just means you're pulling the back line in another direction, and that's going to open up other opportunities. It then takes us back to our other point where no one else has really stepped up there. You know, Becerra, after he was, you know, the 1-2 with Enderle in the middle, there was a little bit of success. But you got to find a way to get some
Becerra's
help.
a National Player of the Year candidate.
Yeah.
In the sophomore, in the semifinal, he was pretty non-existent. This game has kind of been the same.
Yes.
Is it about Marshall? Is it about why has he been less effective?
Spatial recognition, because it's there. He's just not taking advantage of it. Max Schneider, sitting as the number 6 for Marshall, isn't dropping down deep to help out a boatload. So he's got opportunities within the two center backs. They spread themselves very thin. Lino's playing really high on the right. We talked to Chris Grassi about that. You know, my question was a bit more about transitional movements, but what it does is it spreads this back and opens up space. Becerra's got to step into it.
Great job by Diaz to create space. They're going to play to the back. They did just that. Diaz is there. Can the All-American pull a piece of brilliance? Oh, just wide. This team is determined to play out of the back, and it looked like they were in jail, but they found their way out.
Just watch his decision here, though. They get in the way of each other, pump fakes a little bit, and then it's just waiting for someone else to step up, create something out of absolutely nothing. Roman Celentano, how's your heart rate, man? I mean, he has a sixth sense that this is wide. At least one of us does, because my heart was pounding on that ball.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be on frame. And Becerra and Schneider going back and forth a bit. And Victor Becerra, the National Player of the Year candidate, getting a talking to from Sorin Stoica.
He should walk away, because I thought he was going to get a card for this, because it's a movement that could have easily been Marshall put down and go.
And Nate Ward, the freshman, just subbed on, pressuring a little bit. Masiunas. Nice touch around the bend. Oh, good work by Sosa. Sosa plays it off. Alazzolo for a corner. 7th of the match. Ball played in quick. And Becerra wants a foul, not going to get it. Slow to get up. Joseph Diaz combining, but Becerra comes back to pick it off. Clever little touch over, and Masiunas comes in to break up any potential transition.
That's great work. Great work by Indiana defensively to force Marshall out of back. They've had to deal with their fair share of the press themselves. It's really the first time that we've seen the entire unit from the Hoosiers play that high of a line. Turn the ball over from We have decided to call the home squad, Marshall. You hear the fans getting in again.
Here in some We Are Marshall. Now, Indiana's fans have turned out, but there's definitely more green than red here. And I think that's when when you've never been here before, people want to see it. It's never happened in Marshall's history to be at this stage. Becerra in a little pocket of space. Might fall to Becerra, might dink it over. Well done by Masi Yunus.
Told you his positional awareness, that's it right there.
Yeah.
That's the space that's there, and all he has to do is pinch a little bit left, right, or step up just in front of this back line. Because the Hoosiers are doing a good enough job to create opportunities, but he's still got to step in, and he's got to be commanding. You know, at the end of their semifinal game, Todd Yeagley was imploring him to get involved. He said, Victor, I need more energy. That's what he needs right now. There's 15 minutes to go in the national title game. How bad do you want this?
Ryan Wittenbrink checked in for Nate Ward at the break there. Get a break in action. Big time NBA action coming your way Wednesday night, folks. The play-in tournament starts on Tuesday on TNT. The Wednesday, though, ESPN games are the games. You've got the 10 seed against the 9 seed, San Antonio against Memphis, 7:30 Eastern, and then the marquee game, the 7-8 game, Golden State taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. The winner of the 7-8 game gets that 7 seed. The loser has to play the winner of the 9-10 game to even get the 8 seed. Could we possibly see the Lakers not make the playoffs? Let's see if that's going to happen, but find out 10 o'clock Eastern on ESPN on Wednesday.
Still shoot the J? How's the jump shot?
You sound like you sound
Shoot
like
it.
Charlie Murphy. Yeah, you sound like
J.
Prince.
Shoot it.
Shoot the J. Shoot it.
Game.
Blouses. I've laid up my boots, if you will.
Okay.
I'm retired fully.
If you need me, let me know. Play a little two-man game. I'm up for it.
That always ends poorly. Somebody blows an Achilles or something. Here we go. Diaz is going to try to get a foul. Doesn't get one. Joseph charging at the back line, trying to cut in on that right. It's where he wants to get to. Mooney, last-ditch defending. See if Celentano can save the corner, and he does. Celentano has the most saves he's had all year now, 6. It's his season high. The Indiana keeper. Indiana's mustered 1 shot in the second half. They had 6 in the first. Talked about their missed opportunities. They had a post, as did Marshall in the first half. But this second half, is it fair to say it's been all Thundering Herd?
And for the most part. And it also gives you a much better idea defensively of how much work Indiana's having to do with Celentano making all those saves.
Yeah.
There is a tiny change over the past couple of minutes from the Hoosiers. They're doing a better job. Again, I'm talking the last couple of minutes, so easy at home, of trying to pick out their moments with this space. That's what Todd Yeagley said. He said, we understand that we're not going to get many. Well, spoiler, if you're just joining us, they've had a couple. Center back Daniel Mooney an opportunity twice in the first half, once off the post.
PB gets forward, doesn't play it in, cuts back. He goes down, wants a foul, no call. Now the third step forward. Got some options. Linos again, the right back, charging down that right wing as he always does. Diaz, the All-American, has it in space. Nowhere to go, really.
It's cramping.
And he's stretching a little bit, yeah. There's a number of players who are starting to feel the effects as we're almost 80 minutes in. And Marshall subbed 1 player, Joao Souza, 17, now playing on that far wing.
Notice how much in their build-up they've started to pivot more to the right side with Jan-Erik Linos. You know, they basically removed all offensive capability from the likes of Alves at left back, sitting on that card. Stay home, stay sound.
Alves does travel forward now into the box. Here's Joseph trying to get on that right foot. He tried to bend one in the first half. It was just wide. Or not, or should I say earlier this half. And Diaz has to go down. That's your difference maker. He helped create both the goals in the last 2 games. Were game-winning goals. Roberts was the beneficiary, Jamil Roberts. But Diaz was the man that provided the pass or the play to get there. He is their All-American, leading goal scorer, 12 goals, player of the year of the conference, midfielder of the year of the conference. And again, obviously, if this is still tied, we're going to overtime.
Yeah.
There'll be two, first goal wins, sudden victory, but it's a 10-minute overtime period. If there's no winner there, you go to a second overtime period, no winner there. We're going to penalty kicks, which is where we went for the women's game earlier today between Santa Clara and Florida State. Santa Clara was the beneficiary of them, 4-1. 17 times a national championship game has gone to overtime. Of the 64 College Cup finals that have been played, 7 of those went to penalties. Let's get down to the field. Lori Lindsay's got something on Indiana. What do you got, Lori?
Well, they feel confident in where they are right now. They knew that Marshall, is their combination play is second to none, but as long as they can keep tight between the lines and continue to spring those front runners for Indiana, they feel confident to be able to close out this game in regulation.
Shooting for Marshall, number 8, Vinicius Fernandez. Here plays the number 31.
We'll see if that comes to fruition. I mean, do you feel that that's an accurate assessment, or that the Indiana team, you're booing yourself with confidence? Do you feel good if you're an Indiana fan right now, given what you've seen?
I'm going to steal part of your verbiage you used in the first half, where if I was a betting man and Vegas is putting odds down, I'm betting on the Hoosiers right now.
Really?
If it's in regulation, 11 minutes to go, and I had to pick one, I would bet Indiana. Just because they are so sound defensively, and though Marshall is still stepping on the ball a lot, these chances coming for Joseph, he's cutting inside 1v3.
Yeah.
Everybody from Indiana stepping in. Conversely, you go the other way, there's some separation that's starting to be created here. You just have to be careful if you're Indiana on the transitional moments defensively. Keep that unit intact so when you do spring forward, you're not all spaced out.
Okay, my man's putting shekels down on Indiana. It's good to know.
We go to OT, we'll talk again. Just like the war of attrition that we talked about.
Yeah.
I got to hedge my bets here.
Well, Malum Gumbale is getting into some space. He won that battle with Alves, but Schneider reads it so well, comes over and picks it off. Gumbale also was struggling earlier in the half, stretching out. He does not exactly look 100% as he gets up. Vinicius Fernandez checked in whenever Diaz went down. He laid it off to Dolabella, back to Dos Santos. We're under 10 minutes to go. 0-0 between Marshall and Indiana. Devin Kerr, myself, Dallin Cuff, Lori Lindsay on the field. Long shot taken, I would say hopeful at best, from Roberts. Celentano clips it out to Gumbale. Heavy touch, turnover. Schneider back off him. Ball popped up and hit Gumbale in the hand. They don't call a handball, and Endeli's almost loose. And that's Dos Santos over. You've got 2 of the 4 back 4 have yellows right now for the Thundering Herd, and it looks like it's about to be a third.
This is really unfortunate for Marshall. The yellow card for sure, but on the other end of the field, the reason this opportunity was created was because of the no call. This ball that pops up off the pitch smacks him right in the hand, and then allows them to continue to progress the other direction. Right outside the top of the 18. Hands extended away from the body, trying to pick out Milo Joseph. Underneath Dos Santos, of course, on the back line, having to step in. You can't fault him.
Well, Becerra is standing over it. He'll take it back short to Sesek. Becerra goes into the vacant space up the wing. Nice ball played in. Still loose. Knocked down Endeli, but they're going to call a foul prior to that. Semla knocks it over to Alves. Joseph cutting in again, looking for Fernandez. Trying to slip through to Roberts. And Endeli, great tackle by Schneider. Finds the feet of Schmidt, out to Wittenbrink. Trying to get end line. Low ball played in, headed down. Endeli looked like he was winding up for the volley, didn't take it. Takes a touch and shoots it, and it'll go out for their second corner of the match. Indiana showing some signs of life here.
Communication coming down from the man himself, Yeagley, having a conversation with Becerra down in the corner before he whips this thing in. He wants to slow the game down, understands that just precious moments at 7:01. The clock going here and allow his two big center backs to get up again. Very active, couple missed chances. Can they pick out another head?
BB comes short, back to Becerra, plays it in. Dangerous, but just slightly overhit as the runs were made to the near post. He went back post.
Obviously a lot of respect being paid by Marshall as well in terms of that quick counter option. They know that's what Indiana's looking for.
Yeah.
And especially the fact that Ali Semla hasn't come very high. You know, they pretty much play him as a sweeper keeper, allowing him to get involved in distribution. They've kept him home a lot.
Fernandez charging forward. Over to Joseph. Schneider in space. Can't get it out on his feet. Out to Linehouse. Flips it in. Roberts is there, gets a head to it. Out from Celentano though. You know you're in, the triangle, North Carolina, when Grayson Allen is mentioned. Soccer game. They love their hoops, and they love their soccer down here, folks.
Roman gave a little wink, blink, and nod over his shoulder when he heard that one.
And there's Vitor Diaz, the All-American for Marshall, went out holding his leg. We'll see if he comes back. Let's actually get down to the field and hear from Lord.
Yeah, just talking to the Marshall bench and wondering where Diaz is, and he's just cramping right now, so they give him a little bit of rest. Obviously, less than 5 minutes to go in regulation to see if they can get him back in the game if this does go into overtime.
He has been their guy all year long. They're difference makers. See if he can get back in and do just that. But there's enough capable guys out here without him, to be very honest. Thunder Herd has a lot of options, as you mentioned in the first half. Then
Just a couple salt tablets and some water, and he'll get right back at it. Again, it is sort of lost in translation, the attack at times without Diaz in it. They found a way in the semi. They found a way in the quarter. The final, totally different experience. And I talked about at the top of this show, the culture, the identities for both of these squads and how Marshall had asserted themselves. You talked about knocking down the giants of college soccer, if you will. Of course, Clemson, #1, reigning champions, Georgetown in the quarterfinal. 6 wins in the top 25 overall. It's different when you play a team like Indiana. You come up against a team like Akron, like Indiana, Maryland. You're talking about hallowed grounds of college soccer, that it's just something else. And that's the comment that came out of Todd Yeagley, where he said, the jersey, that's the edge. That's why we win. Couple minutes to go in a game. You've got to stay grounded if you're Chris Grassi and Marshall, if you want to find a way to break this deadlock, because it's so difficult. That's when the giant starts to come into it.
Becerra having problems with his leg, as he's got the training staff out there now. So the 2 All-Americans right now are struggling. And you mentioned the jersey, the crest, the program. I mean, this is the best tradition in college soccer. 21 College Cups, that's the most. 16 finals appearances, that's the most. They've won 8 national championships, only trailing St. Louis, who racked up a lot of those before JFK was in office. So when you look at recent years, the Hoosiers have been where it's at with a number of other programs that Marshall has run through, and they've proven to themselves, as they told us, Devin, we want to put Marshall soccer on the map. And these are a lot of guys, again, that didn't know what Marshall was. You've got guys from Germany, Brazil, the UK, and some of those guys have started to hear about ACC programs and programs like the Indiana, programs like Stanford. But Marshall trying to put themselves on the map. Chris Grassi has sold this program to guys. They've come here to do it. They've put them on the map, but now this could be a whole different level if you can win the thing. We'll see if they can finish it off, though, because obviously Indiana's had a few more opportunities as of late. Diaz did come back in for Jamil Roberts. And Thomas Rohr came back in, 9 in red, for Victor Becerra, who went out and is struggling. Mooney looking long for Gumbale. And Semla off the line, corrals comfortably. Just over 3 minutes to go. As we're about to head into overtime, Marshall's gone 2-1-3 in overtime this year. Indiana 0-0-2, but both those full draws that went to penalties, they won. Penn State, they beat in the Big Ten Championship, and they beat St. Francis in their opening game here at the NCAA tournament. And if we get to overtime, there'll be 2 10-minute overtime periods or a goal that would end the game. Sudden victory, or we go to overtime, penalty kicks, excuse me, if there's no deadlock breaker through those 20 minutes. He is stepping forward. Souza wants a foul, not going to get it. Salentano, nice distribution to War. He tried to flick it on. Falls to Endele, excuse me. Tried to split the defense, that did not come off. Almost a 1-2, but read well by Sessick. Little lollipop pass. Beebe just gets it out. Over a minute to go.
1 minute.
Slide rule ball, Linehouse is in. He's got options. Pinged around, and the offside flag goes up.
The speed of Ryan Wittenbrink on the offensive side is the reason that they've kept him on, but defensively, he gets very lucky. Almost a catastrophic mistake on the back line by the youngster out on that wing. Hesitates for a second. That allows the play to develop to get through.
Well, for the 18th time in Men's College Cup history, and the second time today, we're going to overtime. Chris Grassi and the Thundering Herd could not break the deadlock, so we've got 10 minutes will be on the clock when we come back. A goal will win it. A goal will hoist a trophy. A goal will crown a champion. We'll find out after this from Cary, North Carolina. Welcome back to Cary, North Carolina for the Men's College Cup Final. The national champion will be crowned here. The question is how? Will it be on a goal in overtime, or to penalty kicks. Alongside Devin Curra, I'm Dallin Cuff, the third member of our squad. The great Lori Lindsay is down on the field. So for the NCAA postseason, 2 10-minute periods. First goal, sudden victory. If and when that happens, if there is no goal within those 2 10-minute periods, we will go to penalty kicks. If you are subbed in the first, you can come back in the match in the second overtime. You cannot re-enter within that overtime period, though. Devin, if you are Todd Yeagley, if you are Chris Grassi, what is your message? What are you communicating to your guys right now?
Grassi's going to talk to his boys about going back to the reason they got here, because they faded from that as the match went on. It doesn't matter how many touches you take on the ball. If you can't be inventive in the final third, it means nothing. They've had their fair share of issues in matches past, but Georgetown, Clemson, every single time they stepped on, they found a way. They have to alter their act moving forward again. If you're Indiana, the conversation will be, you know why you're here. You know why all of that work was put in. Everything, the off-season training sessions, and everybody before you. And it won't be don't let us down. It will be cement yourself in history and join some of the greats.
That is well said, because when you're at Indiana, you're trying to take your place of what is an amazing transition, whereas the Marshall guys are trying to leave their mark, which has never been done before for this Marshall Thundering Herd program in men's college soccer. Soren Stojka, the official, has the whistle in his mouth. And OT begins. Both these teams have played one OT match in this tournament. Indiana went to penalties against St. Francis in their third round match, their first match of the NCAA tournament. Marshall went to penalties with Clemson, the #1 overall seed in the Sweet 16. And they won that game in penalties as well, obviously. Or advanced, I should say, in penalties. Vitor Diaz on the ball, the All-American. Sat out a few minutes toward the end of the half, struggling a little bit with some cramps, as Lori told us, but he's back on the pitch, as is Victor Becerra, who's struggling as well for Indiana, 7 in red. They're both the All-Americans on these squads, but there's a lot of talent around them for sure. Now let's get back down to Lori, has more on the Hoosiers.
Yeah, speaking to the Hoosier bench, they're saying they're going to go more direct, look to see if they can still find Indali up top, but pin Marshall in, see if they can pick some balls off and take their chances.
Indali is number 17 in red. He's been good in this game, their most dynamic player, but he's also been a game breaker at big times. He had the equalizer against Marquette when they came back from down a goal to win 2-1 earlier in the tournament. And he also had the game winner against Pitt in a 1-0 semifinal win, and a great just individual moment of brilliance. And Malum Gumbale draws the foul by Milo Yosef.
Foul committed by Marshall.
Very surprised with the exterior for Marshall, as you get a good look at the challenge on Yosef, that they haven't inverted themselves as much. You know, this is a team that prides itself on rotation, and the lack of presence up top has definitely been fixed from the semifinal to the final. But conversely, on the other side of things, Lionel's playing very high. We talked about Alves at the left back spot, hasn't necessarily done that, but for a team that takes its interior midfielders, pushes to the wings, allows guys to cut inside from the outside midfielder spot, it's been much more direct in their buildup. You know, guys holding traditional positions to try and challenge Indiana, and in order to break them down, you got to get outside of that. You know, go back to everything that got you here, and it is that beautiful build-up play. I said you coming in, technically, the way that they tactically move forward, Marshall best team in the tournament.
Yeah. Joseph rides a challenge from Sesek. Plays line host. Sosa trying to play it in, almost gets it to Roberts. He's been their guy in the last 2 games in terms of putting the ball in the back of the net. He had the game winner against Georgetown 1-0, game winner against UNC, a 1-0 W's in the Elite Eight in the semifinal. Diaz turns it over, pulls on Wittenbrink. And Becerra's trying to take it quick and go for goal. But Soren Stojka will pull it back. Cheeky
playing FIFA in the locker room before this game.
Committed by Marshall.
I like it.
Good on him.
There was a glitch in FIFA years back where you could take a kickoff and just kick it, and if you hit the goal, it would go in. I was pretty salty about that, but they fixed that probably 5-6 years ago for those other 12-year-olds out there, 12-year-old adult men. And the league comes back to an offside position.
Offside is indicated against Indiana.
Joseph turns into some trouble, turns it over. Endeli skips Pakmasiunas. Dos Santos trying to come over. He can burn, and Dos Santos on a yellow gets there when he had to.
Endeli's trying to put this on his right foot, but it's a great job by the center back coming over. Doesn't allow. He knows the strong side. He's done his prep work. Leaving your feet is the scariest thing in transition right around the top of the 18 because you can run into the last man rule as well, the Dogso situation. Perfectly timed by Dos Santos.
And Wittenbrand's touch takes him into a foul. Just over 5 minutes to go in the first OT. And as we cross to 11:30 Eastern, alongside Devin Kerr, Lori Lindsay, the former women's national teamer, on the field. I am Dallin Cuff. Marshall in Indiana playing for the national title on the men's side in overtime. We saw an overtime match in the women's match earlier today. Went to penalties. Santa Clara won 4-1 against Florida State, their first title since 2004. A lot of great former Santa Clara players were there to support that team. Brandy Chastain, the great Allie Wagner. Leslie Osborne as well. Had a lot of fan support from former great players. Similar Indiana, same thing. Henley spins his defender. He's riding challenges. Skipping forward. Still loose. They don't clear it, and finally they do. Sessick out wide. Ball played in dangerous area. Dolabella got his head to it first, though. Indiana asking questions. Diaz on the ball. $5,000 tickets were available to be sold. 5,000 were sold. It is great to have fans back in this building. It's given an atmosphere. It's definitely added to the tension, too. Because right now, they're very quiet on both sides. Pass is shorted. Becerra's there. Semelo was off his line. Becerra goes down hard. Slipped. Joseph now again wanted to cut in on that right foot like he always does. Laid off to Diaz. He'll take a shot, bounces back. Still Diaz! Shot! Digs through! It's hit across! And it's Roberts there again! Roberts does it again! 3 straight games, and this one's the big one! He's given him the national championship! For the first time ever! The Thundering Herd are top of the heap! Jamil Roberts, the senior, has etched his name in Marshall history. The game winner against Georgetown in the Elite Eight. The game winner in the semifinal against UNC. And the game winner in the College Cup final.